Who's got the best financial system? Which country are you like, yes, they've done it well?
I think there's different pieces. And so, the US has a massive, like the US has the dollar, right? Which is probably the strongest implement. And so that probably inherently, bar none, makes the US the best financial system, but it's really because of our currency. As you think about a lot of the technology, I think China has innovated on their financial system very, very, very quickly. And so I think there's probably a lot of stuff that you can take away from that and we can learn from. I don't think we want the Chinese financial system, but I think you can recognize that they're a part of it that's quite interesting. And we could maybe apply it to the US. But I think each country kind of has their own pros and cons.
I don't know anything about the Chinese financial system. What can we learn from the Chinese financial system, do you think?
I think the decision-making process in the US is quite slow. There's some benefits to that. It's a little slightly more democratic, but there's a lot of players in, and I think things move at a relatively slow pace. And I think China, as we think about payment systems and think about regulatory and stuff like that, there's only a couple of decision makers. And so the pace at which they can move and adapt to kind of a changing world order is pretty incredible. And so I think we obviously don't want that top-down authoritarianism in the US, but I think we need to recognize that from a regulatory standpoint and a system standpoint, in order for us to keep pace with China, something probably has to change because they are making leaps and bounds on a financial system perspective that we probably are a little bit slower to adopt.
Is there a way that we can do this without fundamentally reinventing the political system and structure in the US?
Yeah, I think
if you could have your way, what would that look like? I give you the keys to the kingdom, Will. Go.
This is going to be kind of more of a nuanced policy answer, but I think there is this trope in the US, right, is we have a lot of regulation, we have no regulation, right? Democrats are like, let's go regulate everything. The Republicans are like, get rid of all regulation, it's bad. I think what we really need is you need to find balance, right? Because we need regulation to be light enough that people actually want to innovate inside the regulatory perimeter. Right? I think crypto is a really good example for this. Is the US has in many ways kind of punished crypto companies like Coinbase or whatnot that are trying to innovate inside the regulatory perimeter. But what happens? 95% of trading actually just goes overseas outside of kind of that protective umbrella and ends up blowing up. And so what's actually happened is that kind of punishing regulation has actually caused more consumer harm. But if we have absolutely no regulation, then it's a Wild West, and that's really bad. And so the regulators need to focus on, hey, how do we allow people to actually move quickly so we can attract people to build inside the financial system, which makes everything stronger and safer, but not go too far in the extreme where we just kind of push everybody to the gray and the black. I don't think we found that balance. I think the FTX blowing up will probably, hopefully push us in our right direction there. But I think we do have maybe a little bit of ways to go.